Hello, welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation, guys. This is your match day news as Rangers prepare to take on Ross County tonight at Ibrox in another must-win SPL game. We are in the run of three massive games in the run-up to the winter break, with Ross County tonight, obviously, then that lot from across the city on Saturday before finishing off against Killy on the 2nd of January. A game that will actually be quite tough. I think Killy bang in form at the moment. Derek McInnes will have them bang up for this game. Unfortunately, yesterday, Celtic did win their game against Dundee to get 5 points clear, a 3-0 victory for Celtic over Dundee at Dens Park. Not the most impressive of performances, but still a victory for Celtic nonetheless. Unfortunately, so they go back to 5 points clear of us. It gives us even more need to get the 3 points tomorrow, and hopefully this newfound mentality that we do seem to have now, this positive must-can-do attitude that the players seem to develop, will come out, and that we can give Ross County a damn good hiding tomorrow and really help to close the gap up on that lot from across the city. It is absolutely, for me, just paramount that we get the full 3 points tonight and that we are ready to go and putting the massive amount of pressure on that lot from across the city, because I'll be honest with you, I don't think they deal well with pressure. I really don't. This is not the Celtic of Ange Postecoglou. So look at the league table as it stands tonight. Celtic played 2 games more than Rangers, 15 victories, 3 draws, 2 defeats, 48 goals for, 14 against. You know, Rangers still have the best defensive record in Scotland, thanks to largely Jack Butland. Their goal difference is plus 34. They have 48 points. Rangers sit second tonight, 18 games played, so 2 games in hand, as we know, on that lot from across the city. The first one tonight against Ross County, who, as you can see, sit down in 10th position and are not in the best of form. We'll talk a little bit about that in this video. We are second, obviously, so 14 victories, 1 draw, 3 losses. 37 goals for, 8 goals against, a positive 29. So 5 goal difference in terms of the actual overall goal difference, but 11 difference in terms of goals for. That's why we really do need to be a lot more clinical and start putting away chances on a more regular basis to really close down that gap. But that form, that last 5-game form, does look very good for Rangers, doesn't it? Well, you know, look, this game tonight against Ross County, it is a game where we are going to have to make some big judgments as regards which players play, which players don't play. You know, because of the situation, we are carrying that awful lot of injuries. Now, we know about the injuries to Raskin, the injuries to Lundstrom, Jack. Well, Jack and Raskin, we're not 100% sure what is exactly wrong with them, as it's never been actually formally released. It was talked about the other day that Tom Lawrence has a grade 2 muscle tear, which I'm reliably informed means that fibers are torn in his muscle, and he will take about 2 to 3 months to recover from that injury. If you're a normal person, obviously, if you're a footballer, there is obviously that chance of a slightly quicker recovery, as we've seen from certain players. Certainly not Rangers players, though. Also, before we talk about the game tonight, I just want to put one thing to bed. Now, there's been an awful lot of controversy over the alleged penalty that should have been given to Motherwell on Sunday. You know, because obviously Stuart Kettlewell was having his little cry into all that lot from across the city, and their media biased pundits have all been jumping on the bandwagon as well, saying it was a penalty. Oh God, it's so lucky how Rangers are so lucky, etc., etc. And we all know the conspiracy theory. Yes, that fantastic conspiracy theory that's delivered us 1 league title in 12 years. So yes, there clearly is a huge conspiracy theory to help Rangers win everything. Looks utterly ridiculous, that theory, doesn't it? It's just, again, the victimhood of that lot from across the city. But let's have a look at this. This is an image taken from that game, and that is from the penalty incident. Now, to me, if you look at that picture, you tell me whose shirt is being pulled. Is it Bierret's? Or is it Dessa's shirt? Now, to me, it looks like Bierre's shirt is still on his back and is not moving away from his body in any way, shape, or form. And it looks as if his hand is actually grasping hold of Cyril Dessa's shirt. And it's Dessa's shirt that has been pulled away from his body. Now, I know the argument. Obviously, there was the handball incident in the lead up to this happening. But for me, that is blatant cheating. Biereth is putting his hand back. He's holding onto the shirt to try and make it look as if it's his shirt that's been pulled and falling to the ground to try and get a penalty. Now, that is blatant cheating, and I think it should be dealt with by the SFA. It won't be. If it was the other way around, it would be. But if you look at that photograph, it is quite clear And I think even to the most one-eyed Celtic fan, quite clear as to who is having their jersey pulled in that situation. So let's just put this to bed, shall we now? It was not, under any circumstances, a penalty. We are not getting the favourite decisions. We are not the subject of some Masonic conspiracy. It is utterly ridiculous. And I think the more accurate thing is that everyone does genuinely hate us, but we do not care. Now, we face Ross County tomorrow. Now, the last time we faced Ross County was at the start of the season. Under Michael Beale, 26th of August, we won 2-0 with goals from Kemar Roof and James Tavernier. Yes, that fantastic long-range effort from James Tavernier. And the goal that that Roof scored, probably a goal that only Roof could score, to be fair, if you remember that game. The team that day, was Butland in goal, Tav, Goldson, Suter, and Borna. Midfield three of John Lundstrom, Nicholas Raskin, and Todd Cantwell, and a front three of Lammers playing as the 10 and Roof and Dessers up front. Now, with all the injuries we have, a large number of players from that team will be unavailable for the next game. So there we go. That is how we lined up last time in the game against Ross County. So Ross County as well, last time out, they lost 1-0 at home to Dundee. In fact, their record this season is not good. If you look at their actual league record this season, they sit 10th. They've played 17 games. They've only won 4 of those 17 games. They've lost 8 of them and drawn 5. They have a negative 9 goal difference, having only scored 15 goals in 17 games. That's less than a goal a game, yet conceded 24. Their form from their last 5 games is lost 2, won 2, drawn 1. And if you look at their away record is very poor indeed. On the 9th of December, they lost 2-0 to St Mirren. Now, we know that St Mirren are a team that are pretty much on the slide at the moment. St Johnstone, they also lost 1-0 to a very poor St Johnstone team on the 11th of November. And before that, they were subject of a 2-2 draw with Hibs at Easter Road, and that was on the 31st of October. In fact, you've got to go all the way back to the 2nd of September for the last time that they won away, which was actually quite impressive. A 1-0 victory over Kilmarnock on that horrible plastic pitch at Rugby Park. So you can see that, like I said, their away form is not good, their form is not great, and they're not a good team. They are a team that is struggling. So this is a real opportunity tonight to actually, I think, put them to the sword and help really show that we are very serious about this league push this coming season. Now, look, I know what the issue is here. It's quite simple. The injuries are a massive issue, and we'll talk about team selection shortly. I mean, let's have a little look, shall we, at the records of Ross County and against Rangers. Now, the Rangers and Ross County have met 20 times. Rangers have won 16 of them. Ross County have never beaten Rangers in the league. 4 draws in that time. That's the 20 games. Obviously, the average goals scored by Rangers is 2.55. Ross County averaging less than a goal a game in these games. So look, it looks exceptionally promising from those statistics for Rangers having never lost. And I'm sure that this team do not want to be the first to concede 3 points to Ross County. If we look at the last 5 games between Ross County and Rangers, obviously, as we said, it's broken down to half-time, full-time. So the last game, as I said, was a 2-0 victory for Rangers. Before that, at Ibrox, a 2-1 victory for Rangers. Then a 1-0 victory away at Ross County before a 4-0 victory at Ibrox, and before that a 4-1 victory at Ibrox. So some pretty impressive victories at Ibrox: 4-0, 4-1, 2-1 less impressive, but the 2 4-goal victories in 2022 look very, very impressive indeed, and certainly a repeat of that would be most welcome tonight. A good 4-goal victory with no goals conceded. I'm sure that Super Jack Butland in goal does not want to allow anything past him tonight. So look, for me, this is absolutely key tonight that we get these 3 points and that we go into that game on Saturday having put on the maximum possible pressure on that lot from across the city. If we can then go to Parkhead and get a positive result, which will be tough, let's face it, and then go to Killy and finish out this part of the season with 3 great victories, which we've seen from the games against Betis, the game against Aberdeen, and so on, that this team are capable of stringing these results together. They are capable of going places and getting positive results. They seem to have had that change in mind mindset that we have all long been calling for. So, look, 3 victories going to the winter break, top of the league, would be a phenomenal turnaround, especially if you consider where we were after that defeat to Aberdeen at Ibrox, where I think we all kind of thought the league was done and dusted. We'd handed it to them on a plate, and it was just a case of trying to fight and battle to keep that second place. But obviously, Philippe Clement, Big Phil, has come in and turned it all around for us. So, it is a game tonight that we do need to win. Now, in terms of lineup and in terms of how we should line up tonight, I think I've already shared my team with you. But look, I personally, think that that we do need to, maintain some core of the team, but I do think there will be a need for some rotation tonight, given the number of injuries and given the fact that we have the Old Firm game coming up on the 30th. I think, there is no point, absolutely no point risking Connor Goldson. Connor is carrying an injury, which is not good. We know that he's got a groin injury. That's something that he has been carrying. We know that groin injury, he felt that in that game against Motherwell on Sunday and had to come off the pitch. Now, I think it's highly likely that he will not be. He's obviously not going to be ready for Wednesday night, for tonight. So if we're going to give him the best possible opportunity to play against that lot from across the city, for me, we do need to give him a little break, a little rest. I think in John Souttar, we've got a player perfectly capable of coming in and replacing him and playing alongside of him. I think it will be a case that Leon Balogun will have to start. Apparently, there are injury doubts over Ben Davies. Now, I know there's a worry about that because, look, let's face it, Big Leon is 36. Can he really play 3 games a week? But I think we've got to put it as is. We've got 3 games left of this mini part of the season. We need our strongest players out there, strongest team out there. And Big Leon, I think, is going to be even more vital if it's John Souttar, who is not been that regular starter this season. I think Ridvan may well continue at left back because there are injury concerns over Borna Barisic. He's missed training apparently, and then obviously was not on the bench on Sunday. So, I think that looking at it, Philippe Clement is probably going to want to go with Borna on Saturday against that lot from across the city. So I do think that he will not be risked, and it will be Ridvan. Tav obviously picks himself. Butland picks himself in goal. I think in front of the back 4, it will be Dowell and Sterling again. I think there will be, hopefully, we can get a couple of goals up and take some of these players off and rest them for the Old Firm game. Hopefully see Leon King come in, but I do think Dowell and Sterling will start in front of the back 4. Dujon Sterling has been phenomenal for me, and so has Kieran Dowell since he's come back. His stats are absolutely excellent. I was reading through some of his stats from that game the other day against Motherwell, and they were excellent. They were absolutely excellent the way that he played. And I think, he's really come back in, from being a player that was out in the cold and seemingly had no opportunity to play. And the rumor was, that he was on his way out. He certainly come and turned it round. I mean, what was it? Sunday, 1 goal, 83% pass accuracy, 7 passes into the final third, 50% long ball accuracy, 50% tackles won, 3 interceptions, 11 recoveries, and 57% ground duels won. A very good return from Dowler. I think that we'll go with 3 behind the striker, and the 3 behind the striker will, I think, Scott Wright may well start to give young Ross a rest. I think to keep Ross in the peak of condition ready for Saturday's game against that lot, where he will be bang up for it and firing, given the fact that he is an absolute blue nose. Cantwell has to start. He's the best 10. He would man that opens the door. And given the fact that Ross County will be low blocking again, I do think it will be a real need to have someone who can unlock that door. And Todd, with his passing and his movement, certainly is someone who can do that. Abdallah Seema, for me, starts left side. And realistically, Cyril Dessers has to start up front. Why? Because there is no one else to play up front. Now, ideally, yes, it would not be a case we perhaps would need to give Big Cyril a rest, because Philippe Clement has remarked that perhaps Dessers isn't ready to play 3 games in a week. But that's just where we are at this moment in time. Okay, guys, before we close today, a little bit of news coming out of Holland tonight regarding this man, Kevin Van Veen. Look, my feelings on Kevin. I think he's a good player. I think we know that he scores goals. We know that he scored goals in Scotland as well. So look, that's all very positive. But the one thing, like I keep saying, that goes against him is his age. He is 32 years old, and there is realistic, resale value. If you're going to go for a player with no resale value, Lawrence Shankland at 28 is a better bet for me. But according to a number of sources, Dutch Football on X, and also Dagblad van het Noorden, who is and a couple of other Dutch sports newspapers written today, they are saying that Rangers are interested in signing Kevin Van Veen from Groningen, apparently. Now, I do hope this is just press talk. This is just his agent trying to whip up a bit of interest in Scotland to bring him back. Personally, I wouldn't want to see him sign. I think he is a good player. I think he scores goals, but his age certainly puts me off. I'd rather have Shankland in there or someone else, even Miovski or another player from somewhere else. I do think that it would be a mistake to pay any money for Van Veen. Like I said, his age goes against him for me. So let me know what you think in the comments down below, guys. When it's match day, what are your predictions? My prediction for tonight is Rangers 4, Ross County 0. First goal scorer tonight, I'm going to go with Todd Cantwell to get the opening goal tonight. I'm also going to go for Tav to get a pen, just to put that lot into meltdown across the city ahead of that game on Saturday, where, of course, they've got their wishes, where like a lot of the Sunday League teams, they will be bringing their own refs. As I reported yesterday, Nick Walsh is the referee. As we all know, Nick loves Celtic. And the fourth official is Father Clancy. Yes, that's right. Father Clancy will be the fourth official. So as we know, Celtic are clearly bringing their own refs on Saturday. Well, we knew it would happen. They get an extra day's rest and they get their own officials. We all know that the SFA absolutely love Celtic. Okay, guys, on the way out, please smash that like. And this other thing I always ask you is this. Never forget, always remember, we are the people.